Greetings everyone. This is a video update just demoing our new vehicle spawner system that I've been toting towards you guys for the past, I don't know how many weeks, through all of our meetings and things. So having the luxuries and the pleasures of infinitely spawning your vehicles is not no longer going to be a thing, in at least in these milsim formats. Anyways, uh, yes, effectively, for those who don't know, the vehicle spawner system, it now allows us to store any vehicles that we steal in ops. So any should be, yes, any vehicle that we find, minus any new vehicles that have been added in mods in the recent week or so, um, will be able to be stored in this kind of facility area which you've seen in past ops, kind of lolling around. It didn't really have a purpose, but now it does. So you would simply fly or drive your stolen vehicle into the area and then store them. This basically, the purpose of this system in not being able to infinitely spawn these things, but have an actual managed system or a stockpile of these vehicles, is so that on top of the trader system, all these little systems and things help us to value our own lives and reinforce the theme of us being rebels and us supporting our own cause, and building up our supplies to fight against the Empire. Rather than throwing bodies and vehicles at a problem, we now have to be much more careful in flying and placing our vehicles in operations, and being a lot more tactical and very careful. So if you're going to drive a vehicle into an area, make sure that area has been scouted out first, and then drive the vehicle forward to at least improve your chances of survival. I am aware of the armor values of the vehicles right now, so that might raise some concerns. We are looking into it, and we will be increasing the armor values of some of the vehicles so that they at least give you a chance to retreat rather than getting blown up with a single or few hits. Um, but we'll bounce that as times come. So, um, and this is the first iteration of its system, so don't take it too much at face value in terms of like, oh no, it didn't work all perfectly the first time. I mean, functionally, yes, it's going to work perfectly. In terms of our gameplay, we've never had this before. I don't think there's any other units who do it quite like this. There's Liberation, but it's not quite the same because this is going to carry from op to op to op, whatever map we're on. The vehicles do matter, so it's very imperative that we collect and look after vehicles rather than constantly blowing them up, unless we are left with no choice. Um, so I think I've majoritively covered it all. So once obviously you've placed your vehicles in there, you would go to the console, which is currently placed here. Keck will correct me in a minute because he'll take over in the demo. But I believe there's going to be only a few admins that are able to access the spawner to then place down the vehicles required for the operation. But everyone should be able to. I can't recall if everyone's able to store it. Keck will correct me in a second, but
Everybody will be able to store it, yeah.
to store it. I thought so. Yeah, there you go. So everyone can store it, but not everyone can spawn it. So it'll be basically HighCom and people with the admin. So I'll be getting all the tons of Steam IDs from the people that will have that authority and all that. So the spawner will obviously place all the vehicles on this huge pad here and on the pads that are on the other side. So this side will be all the ground vehicles, the other side will be the aircraft and stuff like that. So, right, I think I've covered everything, Keck. Shall I can hand it over to you for the demo then?
I think that's everything, yeah. So a disclaimer right off the bat is I'm consuming alcohol. Fuck all of you. But beyond that, uh, we have here now, over the because of the events of the last, I would say, 4 weeks, we now have a fairly robust system for saving and spawning these vehicles. And for the people who can access it, it's going to be quite simple. So we're going to move up to this here console. and access the interface which contains your collection data, which of course is being initialized on load and then being broadcast when interactions complete, such as spawning cycles or bay updates. So now you're going to be greeted here with a very minimal, arguably not very well laid out entry screen with the unit logo and 2 buttons, air assets and ground assets. They are what they sound like. You click one of them and it's going to take you to that section. So starting with ground assets, we will be taken with a little camera fade to the ground section. Here you can see that we don't have a lot of stuff in this test file right now. We only have what looks like perhaps it's a Super Saber tank that I can see in the list. So if we select that, as Revan has here, it will pop up and show you what it is. Additionally, if your vehicle selected has cosmetic options, you are going to notice a pair of arrows appearing at the bottom of your screen. Those are the arrows with which you will cycle your options. So if you go to the right, you notice now we have a different vehicle here. And this one, I believe, only has 2 different options. So if you try to go through it again, nothing will happen. Right. So there's only 2 options. But if you then go back, it'll go back to that first option. That's how you're going to choose your cosmetic. Which cosmetic you choose doesn't matter. It's all going to draw from the same data. So spawn whatever you like. Now, the purpose of doing it this way, for your guys' information, and to keep this in mind in the future when you want things to be added, and they absolutely can and should be added. But keep in mind that the only things that we want to save are the base classes of anything that we would like to be able to spawn. So for example, if you have one vehicle that has 5 different class names that are all functionally the same, all configured the same way, they're just painted different colors, you're going to choose one of them to be your base class, and all others will become cosmetic, and the only one that gets saved is the base class. What this does is it greatly reduces the amount of data that we have to save, and then, because of this, drastically reduces your chances of complete profile corruption, which, though what we're doing isn't likely to cause it, could potentially arise anytime you're having to draw from the profile namespace. And this is why I'm sure Revan has told you, be very careful how often you're saving. Don't spam that button. It could fail. This is why. And if it does, if you abuse this and it fails, it's not just going to fuck this up. It's going to fuck up every profile namespace variable you have. So every anti-Stasi save you have, Liberation, all these big missions that use these variables, you've just fucked your save for. So, and that's not something I can prevent. That's not something any of them can prevent. It's nobody's fault. What we're doing already mitigates the problem. Just be careful. So without sidetracking too much, we don't have a lot of vehicles to work with. So let's go check the air assets to see if we have enough to display the vehicle bay function. If not, we will cover the collection function first and come back to this. So I don't know how many. We don't have enough. Okay,
Yeah.
So we're going to go over collection first. So for the players who are not the admins, anybody can do what you're about to see. We're going to go through the process of collecting a vehicle. And the means by which we're going to do that is we are going to collect these vehicles at a pre-designated collection zone. Now, what this allows us to do is target untold numbers of vehicles at the same time within a certain radius. So let's say, even though it's not possible, let's say you manage to get 1,000 vehicles inside this space. When you go to save it, it will save all 1,000 vehicles. It just matters that it's in the correct area. So we're going to be placing some vehicles down here. We're going to make sure that they can save and really just run through the motions.
Yeah. I'm just thinking maybe I should do 2 of them. I can't remember the variety of stuff. We've done it all, but anyway. So I'm going to start driving these things in. There you go.
Just make sure those are the ones we're actually using. Those are the 3AS ones, right?
Brain, let's have a check. It should be that one. 3AS.
Ah,
Yeah,
wonderful.
So, yeah,
okay.
we're correct.
Yeah, that's the one we're... Okay.
Cool.
Perfect.
Just drive them in.
So our lovely assistant Revan, the beautiful bastard, is it's time for another sip of beer. Actually, how about
The game is remarkably loud, actually.
that?
I don't
Okay,
know if it's
so
coming across on the thing, so I'm going to reduce that volume.
for some reason I'm unable to hear it. There we go. So now Revan has driven this vehicle into our collection zone, near which there will be a console, much like the one that you used to access the spawning interface, which will contain a hold action. You complete this hold action, and it starts to iterate through an array composed of the vehicles within the aforementioned designated area, being this part of the composition here. And once he's ready to do that, we actually are going to get to see that in action. Now, right now, I believe on a code level, I am forcing a 1 second interval between each suck up. Like a suck up, I don't know why I put it that way. Between each collection, individual vehicle being despawned and collected. That's completely arbitrary. It doesn't need to be that way. It was mostly for testing purposes, so if that's starting to bug you guys, just shout at us about it and we can get it removed. But it won't stop the code from doing what it's supposed to do. What it'll mean is that saving 25 vehicles takes 25 seconds, and so on and so forth.
There we go. Frozen in time. Oh, that doesn't help when
Oh
I get
no!
stuck on the thing. Always happens on demos.
Oh, dude, exclusively. That would never have happened in any other situation. That's always how it goes.
It's part of the ritual. You have to get stuck in order to save the vehicle. Okay, cool. So this is the one that you were on about here. So I might move the location of this in future, but I think for the sake of this, we'll just keep it in this location here.
Yeah,
then
probably
you can
move
actually
it into
witness,
that area. But it's
Yeah.
okay, yeah. For now, that they'll know where it is. And
So you can see the options here. So we'll scroll down to store. We're back. So time to store said vehicles over here and over here. Oh, can't even see it. Boop.
So I apologize. I'm significantly more drunk than when we started. So the explanation for why this random cut happened was I made a little whoopsie we won't disclose, but now it should be able to store them properly because let's not even talk about it.
Yeah.
And so there, they get recognized, disappeared. It happened the right way the first time. Believe me, take my word for it. But now we should have enough vehicles. Do we have some air ones as well?
No, we didn't, but I'll add them in.
Yeah. Okay. Then we can preview the bay function and show them how to work that.
Yeah.
We need one of these sips.
Put
I love L7, that Jedi Starfighter original
Yeah.
ones. Sleep.
Sexy.
Yeah.
It's a good looking craft, I have to say. That and the Naboo ship
The
in episode
N1
1.
is the best Starfighter.
Oh, and N1. I forgot about that. Yeah, N1's gorgeous. It's one of the only ships in Star Wars that hasn't got all this kind of rusty bolts and rustic retro feel, and it's all
It's so royal, like regal.
Yeah.
In its design language.
fucking brilliant. And the bright yellow as well. It just doesn't give a shit that it's bright
I
coloured.
love it.
Which is brilliant. I think we're fine with those two.
It's both sleek and simple and flamboyant and fancy at the same time. Like it's
Exactly. Oh, so store vehicles. There we go. So now we've got some aircraft and
So now we can start fucking around the base, show them how to use that.
yes. Alright, I'll let you dictate it then. Back to the spawny vehicles.
So once again, forgive me, I'm a little inebriated, but let's go into either ground or air bay. Let's start adding some stuff to the bay. Just fill it up with as many as you have.
Okay. I haven't put many down, otherwise I would probably fill the bays out, but yeah. That one. And change the cosmetic. So I'll pick the blue one. And then where's the delta? Unless we've gone past it already. be on here somewhere. There it is.
Boom.
Let's go for. We put in a blue. Let's bring out a green. And then
So you're gonna notice that as he adds these things to the buttons, or adds these to the bay, they're gonna get individually placed inside those bay slots. It organizes from left to right and then top to bottom. So slot 1, 2, and 3 are in the top. Slot, I guess 4, 5, and 6 are in the middle, and 7, 8, and 9 on the bottom. So why this is going to be useful for you guys is because each of these bays remembers what they have in them. So empty the ground bay and refill it with the stuff individually. Like each individual slot knows what you put in there. So if you click each individual slot, it's going to remove the thing that's contained in it. But why this is useful for you is so re-add them again. For you players who maybe made a mistake, added some vehicles you don't want to, you just want to empty the whole bay. Instead of getting out of the menu, which you could do, if you get out of the menu, it'll reset it for you. But instead of that, you can just spam click the top left slot, and it'll start to empty the entire bay one by one for you. Because what happens is, every time it has one of these interactions where the bay updates, it reorganizes itself. So because of that, it's always going to, you just spam click the top left one, and it's going to fill it out for you. Let's see. So it's already been set up for proper input disabling. As far as I know, there's no combination of buttons that you're able to press that will break this. So with that in mind, just be at ease. Don't try to be too careful. If something goes wrong, which I don't expect it to, please let me know. I won't take offense. But I don't expect that to happen, so have fun with it. And I think the only thing that we didn't cover is that, and this is something that Revan will either agree with me on or disagree, and it's important that we have this forum, is that it is my opinion that it is now up to the people who Zeus your missions to actually step in and become a mission dev in their own right by making the proper decisions so that you guys are never in a situation where you have either too many vehicles or too few.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly. You know, the goal of balance, it's now, unfortunately, until we can finish our final format, which won't be Zeus operated. Well, Zeus supported, yes, but not Zeus focused.
Not dependent.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So until we can roll that out, it's right now, it has to be up to your Zeuses. You Zeuses are now the front line in terms of proper balance in this unit. So please, please, please take care of your guys. Find ways, clever ways that they never have too many vehicles, never have too few. And look, it's going to happen. Don't beat yourself up. We're still going to have to learn this together, how best to do this. But you are our front line. We are relying on you guys, and I know you'll do a good job with it, so I look forward to seeing it.
Yes.
I think that about wraps it up for the most part.
I think it does. So without further ado, we can smack the deploy. And you can see how it all detracts fully from the menus. Don't mind my lack of energy. I'm fucking shattered. But no,
sorry, guys. I've put him through a lot of shit today.
Oh no, we've both worked really hard. Well, you've worked really hard on this, but I'm so proud and happy. Even if my voice isn't dictating that, I really am happy because this is exciting for many future things to come. In the unit and the possibilities. Yeah.
It's the proof that we can take it to the next level if we want it.
100%. 100%. Do you know, I think this is turning into a podcast, you know?
Oh, yeah.
The Cat Cave podcast.
We'll call it Dick's Anonymous.
Dick's Anonymous. There you go.
Or Dick Anonymous. Like we're all on the same side.
So
Rose before hope.
Yeah, exactly. Excuse me, sorry. So as you can see, we've got this massive pad now. So instead of all those individual spawning pads and stuff, you've got this massive one, and you can kind of guess the spacing that these here represent all 9 of the bays that you saw in the spawn menu, all laid out here for the ground vehicles, and all you need to do is just literally drive them out. After that point, so that's pretty straightforward. I'll probably put a separate bay for the paint shop so that you can swap the textures out for your custom vehicle textures. I'm just coming to the other side because this is aviation, this is your side. I'll be adding some props around here for not only a little bit, just one or two lights, but mainly the vehicle rearm box that you guys require to swap out your pylons for your aircraft and stuff like that. Because that's something that you need. So we've got a nice nice box for that. But there you go. There's the blue Arc and the green Delta 7, which I haven't actually flown before, so I might try it. So this is mission success, and I think
Oh, that's beautiful.
it looks great, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It sounds great as well. I'm not a pilot, so prepare for crashes. Yep, there you go. First crash.
That's about how it would go if I tried to fly. Don't even worry about it.
Wow, so I have what? Hull, engine. Yeah, so. Oh no, it's it. Yeah, that's pretty much done. So, in this state, this is a good example. In this state, obviously, it's fine if you get a repair kit, which should be readily available in the arsenal for you guys. And you should be able to fix it up. But if this is gone, this is gone.
Gone.
That's
Period.
it. There's nothing we can do about it, and this is part of the experience. So be very gentle and careful with your aircraft. They are very, they should be precious to you. If you look after it, it'll look after you. So yeah, if it's gone, it's
Please
gone.
don't let me hear the word insurance.
Yeah,
Please.
yeah, exactly. Because you'll get ample opportunity to replenish, but you know you got to get out there and do it. But again, this is the first pass on this, so we need to see how this works in a social and gameplay environment, and then we
'Cause
can
let's say,
adjust Zeusing wise how many we spawn down and stuff. So
right, and let's say we
um,
get to a point where we figure out maybe we need something similar to insurance. It would just be better to do it on a code level. So then we're not creating the same problem that this vehicle system solves, which is the plan before this was that you guys were going to maintain a fucking document, and your officers were going to have to manage that. So if you're doing that with insurance, you're defeating the whole purpose of why we did this, which was to save your officers time and to make things immersive. So if we get to the point where we need it, I will hear you guys out, but make sure, yeah, just don't be too quick to judge. Give it a chance, and then I will give whatever you guys want a chance.
yeah, exactly. Give it some time. This system will be in here for several weeks before we do any reviews on it. I will reiterate that this has been a multitude of weeks being worked on this, with you know, me coming off a full-time job at work to come spend time with Keck, who's done all the coding for it, but I've been present to help him test it, be available, and help make decisions with him. You know, we've put a lot of our own personal free time into making this, so please keep that in mind when giving feedback. Be as kind as you can in presenting your feedback. We appreciate negative, you know, constructive feedback, but you know, again, just please keep that in mind that we did work really hard on it.
A month.
And yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, so it's going to be around for quite a few weeks before we make any changes. So please give it a chance and try and get used to it, and you know, work around it, improvise. Like I know you guys are very smart and good at doing stuff like this. So I think that's it really. I think this video is long enough, so I think we'll bid you guys adieu. And we'll catch you in the next op, and keep a lookout on Keck's Cave for future developments, and keep sending those anonymous feedback forms so we can see what you're all thinking of and what ideas you want to contribute. I think that's all really, Keck. Yeah.
Appreciate the time.
Right. Love you all. Bye bye. May the force be with you.